In the crowded streets of a bustling city, where people rushed by in a hurry, a small boy wandered the same roads every day. His clothes were worn out, far too big for his tiny frame. His face, young but already tired, carried the weight of survival. He spent most of his days trying to catch people's attention, not for fame, not for play, but for a coin, a bit of food, a moment of kindness. Some looked away. Some dropped loose change into his hands. It was a routine he had come to accept as normal. But one morning, something shifted. Among the usual glances, he felt a gaze that lingered, not pitying, not judging, just deep and thoughtful. It didn't say anything, but it planted a seed. I always ask, but what do I give? The question followed him for days. It echoed in his thoughts like a puzzle with no answer. He looked at himself, his empty pockets, his worn shoes. What can I possibly give? He wondered. Then, one morning, near a trash bin on the corner of a street, he found an old box. Inside were a few broken pens, dusty, cracked, but still usable. He cleaned them, smoothed them out, and an idea sparked. He packed the pens carefully into his old bag and stepped out, not to beg, but to offer. That day, he no longer asked for money, he sold pens. The first day didn't go well. People still saw him the same way, a boy in need, not a boy with something to give. But he didn't give up. He returned the next day. And the next. With every passing day, he wasn't just selling pens. He was rewriting his identity. Soon, people began to notice the change. He wasn't a beggar anymore. He was a boy trying, offering, creating value. The coins came more steadily now. With what he earned, he bought more pens, and then notebooks, erasers, rulers. He built a tiny stand on a street corner, neat, humble, determined. The boy who once walked with his head down now stood tall behind his little table. He had no shop, but he had pride. He had no shelves, but he had customers. He had no advertising, only effort. Each coin he earned wasn't a handout, it was earned respect. And so, without any big miracle, his life began to change. Not because someone saved him, but because he started to see himself differently. This story reminds us of a powerful truth. Everyone has something to give, no matter how small. A service, an effort, a kind gesture, an idea. Life doesn't change by taking, it changes the moment we start giving, even if all we can give is a cleaned-up pen. How we see ourselves shapes how the world sees us. If you see yourself as a beggar, you'll always feel dependent. But the moment you see yourself as someone who can contribute, the world opens up to you. Just like the boy who sold pens. The end. If this story moved you, inspired you,